at its very seams, with the population swelling to over 20 million souls. But tonight, the boxing fans, this mega metropolis, will escape the daily strife of poverty, crime, and pollution to witness a fantastic sporting event as their national hero of nearly 20 years, Julio Cesar Chavez, tries to capture a world title one more time. Or will we be lucky enough to witness the changing of the guard as Miguel Angel Gonzalez and Ricardo Lopez step up to take their rightful places as the new Mexican national boxing heroes? This is Mexico City as the night falls on this 7,000-foot plateau. The excitement, my friends, is really here, believe me. Tonight, we visit the Plaza de Toros, the bull ring in Mexico City, for truly an historic event. And a moment of truth is about to unfold as Don King Productions, in association with the Showtime Network in the United States of America, proudly present a show called La Guerra, the War. World Championship Boxing at its very best. Our main event is for the vacant WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. That's the 140-pound division. And look at who's fighting. Julio Cesar Chavez, 6-time world champion from Culiacan in Mexico, a Mexican hero, 100 career wins against Miguel Angel Gonzalez, a former world champion in his own right from right here in Mexico City. Only one loss in his record with 42 wins, 32 knockouts. It'll be a night of explosion. Also, in our co-feature, the WBC, WBA Strawweight Minimum Weight Championship. Now that's the 105-pound division. The little guys, but these are big little guys. Both undefeated. Ricardo Lopez, undefeated WBC champion from Tacubaya here in Mexico City, against Rosendo Alvarez, an undefeated WBA champion from Managua in Nicaragua. This is Lopez's toughest test in his brilliant career. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Sheridan, and by golly, I hope I can bring you the excitement that is in this crowd tonight. This is truly unbelievable. I love it, folks. It's kind of like if you're from the United States and watching in the bar network around the United States, like Mantle in Yankee Stadium. If you're watching around the world, it's like Paley in Brazil, Secretariat at Churchill Downs. There is absolutely nothing like a Julio Cesar Chavez fight in Mexico City. But is it going to be Chavez's last hurrah? The crowd here doesn't think so. If he has the heart that he's possessed for so many years that all great champions have, he just might be able to, in this case, upset the upstart and the great former champion Miguel Angel Gonzalez. We go to the interview
this week in New
with
York
Jim
by
Gray
Mike Tyson,
and Don
alleging
King.
Fraud and betrayal of confidence and trust. Have you betrayed the trust and confidence of Mike Tyson, Don?
Absolutely not, Jim. And I might say that this is a totally meritless lawsuit. And the reason that it was done is because they manipulated and used him as a pawn. And in so doing, I'm just terribly hurt and disappointed that he would allow himself to be used in such a manner to make an assault on me and to try to, it's a thinly veiled scheme to try to devise prejudicing or influencing my prospective jurors in my criminal trial next week with the insurance fraud.
Well, let's get to some of the issues in this complaint. Have you diverted millions of dollars out of Mike Tyson's pockets into your pockets?
Absolutely not. On the contrary, I have generated millions of dollars to go into Mike Tyson's pocket. And as I say, it's a meritless lawsuit, and I will deal with that. Right now, I want to deal with my criminal trial coming up. The American people did not find that the government's case was strong enough. It lacked evidence last time, and now this time I'm extremely confident that I'll be totally vindicated.
Well, it was a hung jury, Don. Let me ask you about Mike Tyson on some of the percentages. The suit says that you take 50%, you and Team Tyson, from Mike Tyson. If that's the case, if that is so, how could that possibly be fair?
Well, let me tell you, Jim, this is a financial arrangement with Tyson, with Team Tyson. And so all of those percentages they're talking about is just things they're talking about, and I don't care. They discussed them on the advice of my lawyer. But one thing you keep in mind, Once we get through with the criminal case, I want Mike Tyson and all of his agents to come on with it, because I certainly will be able to defend myself on that case just as I'm going to do on my criminal case.
Some of the other things alleged: your wife, your 2 sons, your son-in-law, your daughter. Have they been paid consultant fees? And if they have, what for?
Well, Jim, let me say like I said, I don't care to discuss this on the advice of my attorneys, but it's all meritless, and it will be seen in the day in court. So you got to
How about building homes? Have you used Mike's money to build homes and to refinance condos and offices?
Absolutely not.
Some of the other things that are alleged in here. Well, let's establish, in your opinion, and it can only be your opinion, does Mike Tyson know how to read?
Well, certainly Mike Tyson knows how to read. He has no problem with reading. So it's the thing here that he's an intelligent young man. And
says that you have taken advantage of his inability to comprehend and understand what he is signed and be able to read and comprehend it.
Well, I think that's his advisors and his consultants manipulating him and putting out a document. It's one-sided. Naturally, if the lawyer is trying to make a case, you have to throw out the net and hope that he can bring something in. Absolutely no truth in it, Jim.
Let me ask you this, and let me read you something right here. Quote, Tyson did not have an opportunity to read nor consider the agreements, nor did Tyson have the advice of counsel or any other representation at this meeting. Where does that come from? Do you know, Don?
It comes from the figment of someone's imagination.
No, that comes from a 1988 lawsuit, Tyson versus Caton. Do you find that ironic?
Well, I think it's convenient and selective ignorance.
You advised Mike Tyson in that lawsuit against Bill Caton, and you now stand accused of most of the same things. If it was indefensible then, how now can it possibly be defensible?
Well, the difference is that he had lawyers when he was suing Bill Caton. I was not his advisor. I was his friend. And in my case, he has lawyers and people that are manipulating him and trying to use him as a pawn to try to assault me. And as I said, a thinly veiled scheme to try to prejudice my jury with all these allegations and accusations to try to paint influence into them on my criminal case, because they filed the same case right in the same district where I'm going to trial at.
It's going to ring very hollow, however, Don, to the American public and to the public at large, that you say that Bill Caton was wrong in trying to get those percentages, but Don King and his people are right. That's going to ring hollow, don't you agree?
No, I don't. What you're doing is you're painting a picture that's hollow yourself. You must look at the circumstances. You must evaluate the weight of the evidence, and then you can make an adjudication that would be proper. But you can't take the public opinion. That's what many people do. They underestimate the infinite wisdom of the American people. And I have complete confidence in the American people. I love America, and I love the American people, and I have no reservation, no fear or apprehension that justice will prevail.
Would you surmise, if he is having the same complaint against you now 10 years later, that Mike Tyson really hasn't learned anything over the course of those 10 years?
Well, I don't know what Mike learned or didn't learn, but I do know that Team Tyson told Mike every bit of every deal, everything he knew exactly from the beginning to the end of everything that he did or signed. And so it's a totally meritless lawsuit, and I will deal with that lawsuit. But I think, Jim, that you must understand that my first and foremost concern is my criminal case in the Southern District of New York, and that is what I'm going to work on. And after I get through with that, then I will take on Mike Tyson and all of his newfound manipulators and advisors and let them come on with a team. Tyson will stand proud and tall, making the best deal in the world. What you don't understand, hold it. What you don't understand is that we generated for Mike Tyson's end $115 million 18 months out of the penitentiary. ESPN, CNN, ABC Sports, CBS Sports, all of them, Sports Illustrated, the highest paid athlete in the history of the world. You know what I mean? So now I have my record will stand on itself in the merits of what we've done and achieved. Mike Tyson made $115 million for his net end. So I'm not concerned about that. There's no athlete alive that has made that kind of money in that short period of time in 18 months.
How much of that went to you, though?
No, that's his. I said net. I'm certain that you got the college education.
Absolutely.
And I recognize that you know how to know. You know net from gross.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me ask you, you mentioned your trial coming up, and Mike Tyson alleges in his complaint forgery of documents. Francois Botha said it in his civil complaint. The government is alleging it, and Chavez and Lloyds of London. Are you manipulating, doctoring, and forging documents?
Absolutely not.
Are they all three wrong?
All wrong, and everyone is trying to feed into the criminal case, and I stand ready, available, and accessible to be able to stand my trial with my peers.
When was the last
That's what
time?
makes this country so great. Recourse.
When was the last time you spoke to Mike Tyson or had contact with him?
I don't recall. Jim is out there in Los Angeles the last time I saw him.
Was that the time when he struck you and physically assaulted you in the parking lot?
Oh, Jimmy boy. Oh, Jimmy boy.
Will you now consider criminal and civil some type of litigation or action against him based on what he's done to you?
Well, let me say this here. The lawsuit has no merit. I feel that Mike Tyson is being used as the pawn.
That's not answering the question.
Yes, but I'm answering the question to you. The lawsuit has no merit, and we will deal with that forthrightly as soon as we get through with this criminal case that has no merit also. You know what I mean? So we will deal with that, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm here for, because this is a great country.
Last couple questions. Do you have a valid contract with Mike Tyson right now?
I don't think they would be doing all they're doing if I didn't. I think they've put their stamp of approval on it.
If he was willing to drop the lawsuit tomorrow, would you step away from this contract?
I think that what we must do is to deal with the criminal case in the Southern District of New York, and then after that we can tell Mike Tyson and all his newfound friends. You know, one of them happened to be a guy who ate at my table, came to my house. I brought him and his wife to my fight, Jeff Wall, and brought him to all of my shows. I thought he was a dear friend, loaned him $85,000 to keep him going because he was stone broke, and then tried to help him in every way. And this is the betrayal, what you call the backstabber. So we would deal with all of them in due time. But right now, let them get their best shot and come on with it. You know what I mean?
Final question here, Don. Why should anyone watching this here tonight believe a word you've had to say about this?
Because it's the truth. And William Cullen Bryant said the truth crushed to the earth will rise again. And Thomas Carlyle said no lie can live forever.
But they believe they're telling the truth too.
Well, then that's what we go to the courts. You know what I mean? So we can't adjudicate it here with me and you on Showtime, the only place to be if you watch TV.
All right, Don.
Here, the grilling interview that was done by Jim Gray at the very top of the show. That's a credit, Don King. You critics can say what you want about Don King, but there's a man that was not afraid to face the fireworks and explosive questions of Jim Gray, and I admire him for that. And wherever you're watching, I'm sure you do around the world, he didn't duck anything. This is what's coming up. The WBC, WBA, strawweight, minimum weight championship of the world. Two undefeated fighters, Ricardo Finito Lopez and Rosendo Alvarez. We take a look at the tail of the tape. Now, there's a couple of things you can see here, and none of it means a heck of a lot. Lopez, half-inch taller. Weight exactly the same. 30 years old against 27, both in their prime, reach exactly the same, both coming off wins. So you've got great undefeated fighters. We'll take a look at the rules, and we'll tell you a little bit about the WBC and WBA rules. 10-point must scoring system. No standing 8 count. There is a 3 knockdown rule in the WBA, so the WBC has said, okay, you can use that. Only the referee can stop the fight, and the fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. So there's a couple of things there. The fight can be saved in the last round when, of course, the bell signifies the end of the contest. So we're just about set to go. And this is a terrific fight. You probably don't know too much about either one of these guys because of their size. 105-pounders are not well-known fighters, and it's unfortunate because Ricardo Finito Lopez, technically, I've said it many, many times, is perhaps one of the best boxers I've ever seen, and this will be my 574th world title telecast that I have the pleasure of doing tonight, and hope that you will enjoy seeing. Ricardo Lopez, he says, well, I've seen my opponent, and he's strong, he throws a lot of punches, he's aggressive. He says, I must get through this fight like every other fight. He did tell me he was 100% physically fit, and I see that Jimmy Lennon is ready, so let's get his announcement.
Especial, presentamos la unificación del título peso baja del Consejo Mundial de Boxeo y la Asociación Mundial de Boxeo. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we present the 105-pound Unification Championship bout, brought to you by Don King Productions and Promotora Alfaga, along with Showtime Event Television. This bout coming your way is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, Presidente José Suleiman, Supervisor Gabriel Peña Garicano, and the World Boxing Association, Presidente Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Carlos Chávez, junto con la Comisión de Boxeo de Distrito Federal. Ahora presentando a los jueces, introducing to you our judges, scoring this bout from ringside, Samuel Conde, Tom Kazmarek, and Dalby Shirley. And our referee in charge, presentando al referee, Arthur Mercanti. All right, fans, here we go with the WBC and WBA 105-pound Unification Championship of the World, scheduled 12 rounds of boxing. Presentando en la esquina azul, con calzoncillo gris con franja azul. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing gray trunks with blue trim, un peleador de Managua, Nicaragua. Pesando 47.6 kilogramos y weighed in at 105 pounds, con un récord de 24 victorias sin derrota, con 16 de ellos por knockout. His record stands at 24 wins, no losses, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the WBA minimum weight champion, demos la bienvenida al campeón del mundo peso mínimo de la AMB, el invicto Rosendo, el Búfalo Alvarez. Y su oponente en la esquina roja usando calzoncillo blanco. His opponent in the red corner wearing white trunks, representando Tacubaya, Distrito Federal, México. Con un peso de 47.6 kilogramos, he weighed the same as his opponent, 105 pounds. Tiene un sobresaliente récord de 46 victorias sin derrota, con 35 de ellos por knockout. His record represents the longest undefeated streak in boxing today, with 46 wins, no losses, 35 wins coming by way of knockout. Welcome, the WBC Strawweight Champion of the World. Demos la bienvenida al campeón del mundo peso paja del CMB, el sensacional e invicto Ricardo Lopez.
Look at the crowd, folks. I told you it would build, and this is only a foreshadowing of what's to come when the next two fighters are announced in Chavez and Gonzalez. Referee Arthur Mercanti will call the fighters to the center of the ring now. His 132nd world title fight. He is one of the great referees, a Hall of Fame referee in his own right. Remember, there is a 3 knockdown rule that could favor Alvarez, who's a heavier puncher. But when you look at the ring record of Finito Lopez, 46 victories, 35 KOs, he can finish too. They do have common opponents. Both guys knocked out Abel Andres. Lopez did it in the second round.
Gentlemen,
Alvarez did it in the first. Let's listen to Arthur.
Received your instructions for this World Unification title match this afternoon. I want to wish you both a lot of luck. Return to your corners to await the starting bell. Good luck.
They also both fought Kerman Gardia. It went 12 rounds for Lopez, and the heavier punching Alvarez knocked him out in 3. So if common opponents mean anything, the edge goes to Alvarez. Alvarez is a natural 105. Lopez has had to work hard to stay at 105 the last several years of his career. Alvarez is the best fighter Lopez has ever faced, and here we go. 2 undefeated champions. Let's see how it unfolds. Ricardo Finito Lopez to the left of your screen, now to the right of your screen. Lopez, very quick and very subtle type of fighter. In the gray and blue trunks, you see there is Rosendo Alvarez. Right now, Lopez is trying to get his punching room, find out what he can do in the first round, ties a guy up inside, they talk to each other. They're both talking. Right now, Lopez is just testing. He tests the left hand, tests the right hand. Alvarez realizes he's in against a good man. You see that slick move that Lopez makes? A lot of things, unless you really watch boxing close, not only are you going to miss it, but I'm going to miss it. That's how good and how subtle the movements of Ricardo Lopez. Of course, all that can be offset by the punching power of Alvarez. Alvarez is a terrific champion in his own right from Nicaragua. He had great wins over Jose Bonilla, knockout in the 11th. Gina Popian, he won in 12 rounds in Thailand. Knocked out Carmen Gardia in the third. Been training 7 weeks here in the altitude for this fight. And Luis Spada from Panama says we tried to teach him to go to the body more, although he's appeared to be headhunting with that wild right hand. Lopez is very quick on his feet. Avoids a lot of shots that he otherwise could be hit with. This is the first round of a scheduled 12-round fight. I'm Bob Sheridan. You're watching the world, and wherever you're watching, I'm glad that you're with us. These are two great boxers. Finito Lopez, I made the statement and I'll make it one final time, is one of the finest technical boxers you will ever put your eyes on. He's the finest, maybe the finest I've ever seen. He ranks with the great technical ability that Durant had as a lightweight, with Chavez in his prime. Only this guy is more subtle in his movements as he avoids the shots of Alvarez. This is going to be a difficult fight for judges to score, too. WBC judges and one WBA judge, which would kind of favor Finito Lopez. Alvarez coming forward all the time. The heads come together. Both guys complain a little bit. I don't see any blood coming from any place, so luckily we get through that. And the heads will come together because Lopez dips and ducks a lot, and Alvarez comes straight forward with kind of his neck bent down. And again, the heads seem to come together again. Now, nothing dirty at all. Both guys complaining a little bit about the heads coming together, but it seemed to have been in the middle of the forehead of Lopez and on top of the head of Alvarez. Not only has the crowd been vocal, but they've been throwing samples of hair conditioning given away before the show outside the arena, and there's a lot of it in the ring. And Lopez is knocked down for only the third time in his career. He got caught with a good shot. He appears to be okay, and he's surprised. So there's the power of Alvarez. Let's see what happens here now. He's still wobbling on his feet, and now almost Alvarez going down, and Finito Lopez has the adrenaline flowing right now pretty heavily. Another nice left hook by Alvarez. You've seen the power of Alvarez now, loading up right-hand shots. He waited for his opportunity and then landed the big blow. And with these little packets of things they're tossing in the ring, it could be dangerous for fighter stepping on twisted ankle or what have you. But right now, Finito Lopez gets clipped with another right hand. You very rarely see anyone put this kind of pressure on him. He fights off the ropes as the people really chant Lopez, Lopez. Alvarez continues to come forward. Puffiness underneath the cheek of Ricardo Lopez. Alvarez will knock this guy down is something we haven't seen very often in Lopez's career. We talked about the difficulty in him making this 105 pounds weight, and Alvarez right now appears to be stronger, as you see, or you will see when we have a little more loose shot. You'll see a lot of stuff in the ring that's been tossed in there. Lopez caught with a good shot in the early going of the second round. We'll have replays of that from every which way. He's got his strength back, but he doesn't want to mix inside with this guy at this stage of the fight. It's very dangerous for him. He's been able to get away with it with most opponents, but Alvarez, as I pointed out before this fight, is not like most opponents. This guy's a world champion in his own right, and he's strong. He can punch, and he has a lot of confidence. He has wins on the road and decisions in Thailand and decisions in Japan, which you don't get. And he probably would have to do everything but kill Lopez to get a decision here in Mexico. But right now, Ricardo Lopez is trying to get everything in terms of cobwebs cleared from his head and get back to his fight plan. And now he's back up on his toes and appears all right. Digs to the body. Wow with the right hand is Lopez. Closing seconds of the second round. We'll have that replay from every angle, so you will see exactly what happened when the big shot landed by Rosendo. But it got the attention of Ricardo Finito Lopez. And if the first round was even, the second round definitely Alvarez Ricardo Lopez is really going to be tested tonight before it's over. We talked about the technical perfection of Lopez, but against a very heavy puncher like Alvarez, he's going to have to be more than technical. He's going to have to be super smart against this guy for the rest of the fight to turn this thing around. Loading up the right hand, bottom of the right hand is Lopez. Both of these kids are very religious kids that both give God credit for their ability. Wow, with that left hand is Lopez. A little tentative is Ricardo tonight. And why wouldn't he be if he starts with the right hand like Alvarez got him in that second round? The strengths for Ricardo Lopez, you'd say, he's considered one of the best pure boxers in the world today. Great craftsmanship, defense, quickness. His one-hand punching power, but so does Alvarez. If there's weakness, it's, a lot of mediocre opponents that he's had and injuries to his hands over his career. And recently his difficulty in making this 105 pounds. Alvarez name has that nickname Buffalo. You can see why he fights like that. He just keeps coming forward. Crowd cheering for Lopez, trying to get him going. See the time remaining in the third round. Nobody really taking command here of this third round. Lopez catches it with a light left hand. Tries to land a combination. It's the boxer against the puncher. When you have that situation, you have the classic matchup, especially when you have two undefeated fighters and when there's two world titles on the line. Doesn't get any better than this if you like pure boxing. Lopez, a sensitive guy, wears his mother's wedding ring in his socks when he's fighting. His mother is deceased. Mentioned about his faith in the Catholic Church. It's kind of a tough one for God tonight. Who are you going to root for? Those guys have a lot of faith in the church. It's down to who wants it the most. And when you have the boxer against the puncher, more often than not, the puncher wins. Very few exceptions. Maybe Muhammad Ali's career and maybe Fernando Lopez if he can turn this thing around against Alvarez. This is a very Ricardo Lopez, and immediately Alvarez answered. I think Lopez has outboxed him in this round, but it's a tough round to score. All right, the bell ends round 3, and that's the best round for Lopez. I thought the first round was very even, too difficult to score for me. Clearly, Alvarez, by 2 points, wins the second round, and I think Lopez captured the third round narrowly. They like the way he's throwing the shot to the liver, to the body, and then coming back upstairs. They want him to continue to do that. In other words, they want him to use his boxing skills and don't mix with this guy inside, get in and out. Watch the exchange. Nice right hand get through, and you see the lack of power apparently by Lopez, and then you see a big right hand answered by Alvarez. Both guys landing the shots. You can see the spinning of the head of Lopez and the lack of the power by Lopez in his right hand, but I thought that Lopez landed more shots. They want Alvarez to use his left and set up and work on his left a little bit more, not so many right hands. I don't know if I agree with that. I let him keep throwing right hands, but they know him best. Roberto Garibaldi, Luis Spada, Julio, Cousins, all working those gyms down in Panama. Spada worked with Roberto Duran during most of his career, so he's a good one. And he told me today, he said, Alvarez could beat this guy. He said, there are ways Lopez could beat my fighter, but I don't think so. I just think my guy's got full strength. He may be right. Lopez is looking pretty good right now. This is the fourth round. It's scheduled for 12. Reaching was Alvarez that time. And I talked to the last fight about that danger zone, and if ever anybody should be careful of that, the guy on your right, Ricardo Lopez, has got to watch the danger zone inside. He's got to get in and get out. He's quick on his feet. He's got to let his stuff go, let it fly, and get out of there. He can't stand there and exchange with him because one punch can change the course of this fight in a hurry. We don't usually see that in the lighter weight fights, but Alvarez is a very, very heavy puncher for a guy that only weighs 105 pounds. Lopez has knocked out a lot of guys in his career, but his knockouts are more like Ali's knockouts as a heavyweight in that it's accumulation of punches over a period of 2 or 3 rounds that he catches up with guys, works the body, hurts guys downstairs, and then comes upstairs. Ricardo has not been real successful in the body of Alvarez at all. But then again, he doesn't want to come inside with his hands down, so he's fighting a little bit more cautiously than we've seen him. He can't throw caution to win against this guy like he does against lesser opponents. Digging into the body is Alvarez. There's Finito with a left hook to the head. Reaching with the right hand. Now I see what his corner's talking about. And Lopez does a nice job countering. Lopez again outboxing him here in the 4th round. And I see now why Espada knows more than I do, and why he doesn't want him throwing that wild right hand. Because when he throws it, Finito is very quick and counters with a left hook. And that's what he doesn't want his fighter to take too many of and let the judges, who they know it's going to be difficult to win here in Mexico City, score too much for Finito Lopez. Because right now, it's clearly evident to the judges and me that Lopez is outboxing him right here. After he was on his rear end in the 2nd round in a vicious knockdown. The credit to the great conditioning of Finito Lopez and his ring sense was that he was able to withstand the vicious knockdown that he suffered. His legs were not gone. That's his conditioning. He clipped that time, moving back. Alvarez knows what he wants to do. He wants to land that right hand. And the short, crisp right hand didn't hurt Lopez, and he's counted with 2 or 3 shots since then. Closing seconds of the 4th, and this has been a good Lopez round. A little abrasion by that right cheek of Lopez. Bell ends round 4, and a good Lopez round again, I think. As to narrow that gap that I was talking about, the gap that Finito Lopez wants to keep where he's fighting right now, and of course Alvarez, who's coming forward all the time. They want him to narrow that to land those big shots. They want him to come for the uppercut. Let's see if he can execute it. There's one problem with landing an uppercut with Finito Lopez is he keeps his chin tucked pretty good, and he's tough to hit with an uppercut. And he has pretty good movement. Finito standing straight in front of this guy. He ought to get a little bit more angles on this guy and don't be drawn into a bullfight with this guy. You see? And I'd be circling to my right away from the power instead of circling to his left like he's doing now. That looping right hand. You don't want to circle into the power of a guy. I'd rather take the left hook than the right hand of Alvarez if I were Finito Lopez, and I'm surprised that Finito hasn't thought of that because they know about the power of the right hand. If you're circling left, you're coming into it. You get caught by it, and you're going to go down, as you saw. See, he's taking the left hooks all right. They might be spinning the head all right of Lopez, but they're not hurting it. It's an interesting fight. You get 2 terrific boxers here. Now you see Arthur McCanty Sr. saying, hey, keep the hands up. I don't know how old Arthur McCanty is, but he's been around a long time. He's in great shape, however old he is, and he's a great referee. A lot of the young referees today like to showboat it. Arthur McCanty stays out of the shot so he can see the full legs of his fighters. He doesn't want to be the star. He wants to let the fighters be the star, and that's why he's a Hall of Fame referee. This is the 5th round, scheduled for 12. This is a better boxing round for Alvarez, although Lopez is still landing a lot of shots. To be able to stand and box with Lopez is a credit to Alvarez. We know about him as a puncher, and we're seeing a little bit about him as a boxer because, believe me, folks, although Lopez does not look at his best tonight because of the opponent, he is a great boxer. We haven't seen the uppercut by Alvarez, but we saw one by Lopez. Lopez loads up the right hand, another right hand whistles past the nose of Alvarez. Alvarez comes on. Finito's got to get out of there when this guy comes forward. He's got to snap back. And he's got to quit circling to his left, and he's doing that more than going to his right. Because he wants to set up his own left hook. Now see, there's the great defensive movement there by Lopez, avoiding shots. Lopez comes with the uppercut. This is a tough round to score now for the judges. It's a fairly even round. The judges from the WBA, Samuel Condi of Puerto Rico, Dalby Shirley of Nevada in the United States, and Tommy Kazmarek of New Jersey in the United States of America. So you've got experienced judges here, as you would have in a world title fight of this magnitude. The bell ends the 5th round. Folks, you're going to have to score that one yourself. I can't help you out there. In the second round, and Lopez winning 3 and 4 in my scorecard. I couldn't score the 5th round anything but even. I'll get this fight dead even right now as we go to the 6th round. Bob Sheridan here in King Vision. Hope you're enjoying it around the world, wherever you are. By the way, we want to say good day to the boys at the Bungee Bridge in Queenstown in New Zealand. Henry Van Ash there, and my producer Marty Corwin jumping off the bridge last week. Right now, Lopez is trying to put that same kind of fear into Rosendo Alvarez. And Alvarez giving him all he can handle. Lopez was down in a vicious knockdown and a vicious shot in the second round. Credit the conditioning of Lopez. Nice uppercut inside by Lopez, trying to nail it again. This is taking all the skill that Lopez has to outbox this guy. Lopez shifting around to the left a little bit. And I told you why I didn't like that. I like it when he's out here. That's okay when he's outside. But when he closes that gap, as Alvarez's people want him, it's dangerous. I like him going to the right and throwing the left hook. And I'm trying not to root for Ricardo Lopez too much, but I know him so well, it's difficult for me not to. But let me say that Alvarez is a terrific kid as well. I just don't know him as well, so I'm trying to give you a fair call here. See, Alvarez comes forward. Lopez ties him up. They keep talking to each other. Something I've never seen Lopez do in fights before. Neither one of these guys can be intimidated. Lopez landing more blows here in the 6th round than he did in the last round. Right now, he's outboxing Alvarez in the 6th round. McCarthy does a great job refereeing, doesn't he? Well, you're watching 3 great performers. One great veteran fighter in Lopez, a terrific boxer and puncher in Alvarez, and a great referee. Super boxing fans here in Mexico City. This is Lopez with a long looping right hand. You see the right hand doesn't have the power that Alvarez's does, but he's landing many, many more blows. And look at the defense. Notice how he ducks that right shoulder and avoids the right hand. Very few guys can do that. Those are the things you can't teach a fighter. Things that Finito Lopez does. And you know, yesterday when I talked to him, we had the opportunity to have a chat with a nice defensive move there. I said, what are you working on? What's a guy with your kind of ability work on in his career? He said, Colonel, I got to work on my power. Always working to improve my power. It's difficult at this weight to gain strength all the time and stay at 105. Losing weight saps strength from a fighter when you got to get down to 105 at age 30, and you've been fighting there for several years. Alvarez appears stronger because he didn't have to lose weight. He's been eating steaks all week and staying strong at 104, 105 pounds, weighed in at the 105-pound limit. Okay, the bell ends, and I think that Lopez outboxed him in the 6th round, and I will give that to Lopez. And again, I'm trying to be as fair as I can to give you people watching the fair scoop on this. We're in the corner of Lopez is saying you're not throwing your left enough. You need the left to set him up, they're saying. Says he... He always tries to throw right after your punch. And you know what's happening? Alvarez is moving to his left, which nullifies Lopez's great left hook. Watch this low blow here now. There's a shot, boom. It's a low blow, unintentional, but still a foul. No points taken away. And based on the 6th round, I've got Lopez 1 point out in front in this fight, yet he was the guy who was knocked down back in the 2nd round. Mind you, these rounds are very close and very difficult to score. So I'm just trying to give you, in this particularly difficult fight to score, an idea of the way I see it anyway. Now Lopez has thrown 4 or 5 punches, landed 3 or 4 of them. Alvarez throws 1 and lands it. Digging to the body, that's what they want him to do. Got to keep that right hand high. Want to get that left hook. And once he gets that left out, get it right back up there so you don't get nailed by the right hand. This is Finito Lopez avoiding the right hand. See him hold that left high by that left cheek so he didn't get nailed by the right hand, and then dip, feinting his body across so he can't get hit with the right hand. And I tell you, Alvarez's corner is exactly right. Come with that uppercut. When he does that, when he feints his body across his trunk and comes down like that, come with the uppercut, and he'll catch Lopez. But he hasn't been able to execute it because Lopez is so slick on his feet. Digging shot to the body again. He's trying to punish him with the body, and listen to what his corner is telling him. That's your cross down roll to end up. That right hand, by the way, there was one of the better shots that Lopez has landed in the fight. It may have taken a little bit of steam out of the legs of Alvarez. Nice shot in here, and now it's clear to me that Lopez is outboxing Alvarez. This is not a difficult round to score to this point. This is taking all the ability that Lopez can muster because Alvarez is a terrific fighter. Alvarez, don't forget, to the left of your screen. Lopez to the right of your screen. And White loads up the right hand and ducking away is Ricardo. Ricardo takes a straight left hand, continues to circle left, throws the uppercut, misses. You see Alvarez almost getting set up, and those heads come together again. I don't know if they're cut. And it looks like a headbutt. It's been called an accidental headbutt. And I think he is cut. I mean, obviously now you can see he's cut. Remember, 1 point is taken away from Alvarez here because he's the uninjured fighter. And he's saying, why? Well, that's the rule. The uninjured fighter loses a point. This is going to be a problem because this is going to go to the scorecards no matter what happens now. This fight is official. Accidental headbutt or not, this fight is official. And it's a bad cut, folks. This is really bad. I don't know if Lopez is going to be able to go too much longer with this cut. It's bad. 1 point off Alvarez. If it were to end in this round, and this round was scored, the fight got dead even. So I don't know. I hate to see a cut spoil a fight like this, and this is a bad cut. We'll have a better look in between rounds, but it's really bad. From what I can see, it looked like it was gaping in the eyelid, which is the worst place. Lopez was in the process of having a terrific 7th round, and then the hooks came together. Closing seconds now, the 7th round. We'll get a real good look at it in between. Now Lopez outboxed him, meaning he won the round 10-9, and with a point taken away, it's like a knockdown, so you score that round 10-8. They're going to stop the fight, I think.
No more. I think we should go to the scorecard. A ver, go to the scorecard.
Hay que seguir con él. Hay que estar con él cerca. Y como tú tiras el gancho de izquierda.
No va más.
Como tú tiras el gancho izquierda.
It's going to go to the scorecards, and if my unofficial scoring is correct, Lopez will win the fight 68-65 if the judges have it the way I have it. But it will go to the scorecards. That's the rule. He's stopping the fight because of the cut, and by rule, it will go to the scorecards. Now, if the judges saw it the way I saw it, Lopez will win. Lopez's corner thinks they're ahead, and I think they're ahead too. The referee, the doctor, I think, has advised referee McCanty to stop the fight. We'll get this all sorted out. No, he stopped the fight. We'll show you the headbutt again. The fight's over, folks. The fight is over. And that's it. Well, it's an unfortunate anticlimactic end to what was developing into a terrific fight, but there's no way this kid can continue. He's really split open. We're going to show you the headbutt again, and we'll get all the official ruling, but believe me, it's going to the scorecards, and it'll be official. There's the headbutt right there. There it is here again. Boom, right there. We talked about the possibility of cuts because of the way Alvarez comes forward and Finito has that chin tucked. So after 7 rounds, the fight is stopped by referee Arthur McCanty, I believe on the advice of the doctor. And under the rules of both the WBC and WBA, it goes to the scorecards. I thought Lopez won the round, and if the fight, even if it was even going to the 7th round, Lopez won the round 10-9, and you get the point taken away, which is the rule. The guy who does the butting, who's not injured, loses a point. That's the rule. So it's a 10-8 round, which is the same as if Lopez has knocked Alvarez down. And in that case, if the fight was as close as I saw it, Lopez will get the technical decision here. Lopez knocked down in the 2nd round. Nailed really good in the 2nd round and just starched in the 2nd round.
I know. I'm going to worry about it. I'll be looking at it. All right. You stick close to
The reason for the holdup, we understand now, is that they forgot to deduct the point. So you're probably going to have a technical draw here. And that would be just. It's Jimmy Leonard Jr.
Después del round número 7, el referee paró la pelea por razón de una cortada, un cabezazo accidental. Tenemos una decisión técnica. Ladies and gentlemen, after round number 7, the referee stops the contest due to a cut, an accidental headbutt. We have a technical decision and go to the scorecards. El juez Tom Kaczmarek tiene la pelea 67 a 64 a favor de Lopez. Tommy Kaczmarek scores about 67-64 for Lopez. El juez Samuel Conde anota 68 a 63, 68-63 a favor de Alvarez. El juez Dalby Shirley tiene la pelea 66 a 66, 66, even a draw. La decisión es un empate.
Well, I have to agree with that, folks. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. It was kind of voting down party lines for Conde and Kaczmarek.
Yeah, I am with the referee, Arthur Mercanti. Arthur, tell us what exactly happened and the interpretation, please.
Well, Jim, there was an accidental butt. And the rule book states definitely that in an accidental butt, when the fighters come apart, you take a point away from the uncut fighter. And because the other fighter, who has been cut badly, is at an extreme disadvantage. And it's in the rule book. And I did exactly what the rule book stated.
Was it your opinion that all 3 of these butts were accidental?
Yes, they were absolutely. Absolutely. Butts are deliberate on many occasions, but in this particular fight, they were accidental. They were 2 small guys. They had a very aggressive style of coming in, and they were bound to hit their heads.
You're not directly involved in this, Arthur, but can you ascertain why it took so long to render this decision in this draw?
Well, there seemed to be a big discussion on whether we should go to the scorecard or not, and it was my decision, and this is the truth, it was my decision that it go to the scorecard to come up with the proper decision. And I stopped the fight in the corner because it was a very, very bad cut.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you, Jim.
This is the scene in the Bull Ring in Mexico City, Mexico. I'm Bob Sheridan. You're watching King Vision around the world. You see what's coming up. Julio Cesar Chavez and Miguel Angel Gonzalez. All right, Bob Sheridan back here at ringside. There was a tremendous power failure here.